North Carolina not only beats South Carolina, they dominate them and they sack Spencer Rattler 8 times. Like, where was the offensive line? Before I dive into that, hey, thanks for joining me on the channel tonight. This is a post-game reaction to North Carolina beating South Carolina 31-17. In Charlotte, I'm Brian Knight. I'm not Bobby Durkins, at least not here. Bobby did have his say just a moment ago. He reacted to the South Carolina Gamecocks royally, whatever they just did. It's crazy. But before I get into that, just hit the subscribe button. It's free. I'm supposed to have a join tab and a way that you can, if you want to support the channel. So if you can see it on your side, you want to join, please do that. If you want to support the channel in some form, just you being here is fantastic. But of course, I'll never turn away someone wanting to support the channel. So let's dive right into this. So a few days ago, I came on my channel, the Not Bobby Durkins channel, and I said that I was going to be as unbiased as possible, being a Clemson fan. And that's one of the things that I try to do. I try to come in, and even though I'm going to take my pot shots at my opponents, I'm going to try to be as unbiased as possible. And I picked South Carolina to win this game. So Gamecock fans, before you go get your butt in a wad and your best Carolina to Clemson fan comebacks, I'm just going to tell you straight up, I picked you to win this game. I don't know what y'all were doing. And I just want to be very, very clear about this. And hello to everybody who's getting here. Slim Shady Canes, Tiger Paul Craven, who has a fantastic show on Mark Rogers. Got my buddy in here, Chase Henderson. His sister, Parker Henderson's in here. Hey, guys, I'm glad y'all were here. Everybody, thanks for hopping in. South Carolina fans, I picked you to win this game. And let me tell you why I picked you to win this game. See, I believe in a little thing called football logic. Football logic wins the majority of the time. You say, Brian, what is football logic? Well, let me see. It's first down and goal at the 1 yard line. And we have a really good, powerful running back. Do we go shotgun formation or do we go I formation with a solid fullback in front and hand it off to the powerful running back? Good football logic says you line up I formation, you hand it off to your fantastic running back. Boom. So I just want to give that, idea to you here. All right. North Carolina lost 2 of their best wide receivers. In fact, their best wide receiver last year well, just a few months ago in the draft. Josh Downs is gone. You don't have to worry about him anymore. There was another guy, I can't remember his name. He's gone. Then the NCAA, well, they did NCAA things, and they kept Tez Walker from playing the game. So you didn't have to deal with him. And another wide receiver, for some reason, I can't remember why he didn't play, but he didn't play. You didn't have to play against him. North Carolina's defense has not been that great. Yes, they grow. Yes, wonderful. That's wonderful. That's fantastic. But this is game 1. So the reason for, and somebody called me out on this, and they did it in a very, very unassuming way. They were not being a jerk. It said, hey, I agree with a lot of your points. This was on my North Carolina, South Carolina video from a few days ago. They said to me, hey, I agree with a lot of your points, but you are not counting for the progression that's been made since last season during the fall camps and just players working out and watching film and growing and so on. And that's a valid point. You're right. But one of the reasons that I harp so much on what I harp on is because a real game versus practice is totally different. But I was dumb enough to believe that because you lost all these wide receivers and that your defense has not been that good, that South Carolina would come out and win this game. I called like 24-21 South Carolina. I did not know. I did not know, folks. I'm reading comments right now. I'm sorry. I did not know that the South Carolina Gamecocks would do the South Carolina Gamecocks, well, what they've historically done, and wet the bed. Now, Chase Henderson, I'm going to put this up here. You tell me. He really did take UFC over UNC. He told me yesterday. I told him that I bet the house on UNC, but the X factor was Shane Beamer. Folks, Spencer Rattler, Gamecock or not, which he chose to play for the Gamecocks. He left Oklahoma. He could have went anywhere else. So Shane Beamer, I know that you used your string, pulled him in there, you sold it, and I believe Beamer's a fantastic coach. But Spencer Rattler, you could have went anywhere. You chose to end up in Columbia, South Carolina, at a school who is notoriously known for losing. There's a bunch of people getting in here. It's good to see you in here. Hit the thumbs up. If you want to support the channel, super thanks, hit there, or the join button. If it's not there, if it is, please join. I appreciate it. Everybody, thanks for hopping in here. But Spencer Rattler was running for his life. I don't know what that offensive line was doing, folks. It looked like their offensive line was playing Clemson's defensive line from 2018 when we won the national championship 44-16 over Alabama. Now I'm going to go over some stats for you. I'm going to go to some numbers, and I'm using ESPN right now. Drake May threw 2 interceptions tonight. Now I'm going to tell you on one of those, I'm quite sure that there was a miscommunication between he and the wide receiver. A guy who is as good as Drake May, yes, he can make a mistake, but they really don't happen that often, which means if it doesn't happen that often, I want to go back, look at what the receiver did. So we'll go from there. I'm just going to go over this, and I'm on ESPN site right now. I'm not a big ESPN fan. They started off great, but I think they've ruined a lot in sports. I just put that in the chat, so if you want to look at it for yourself, you go for it. Drake May was 24 of 32 passes, 269 yards, 2 touchdowns, and 2 interceptions. Folks, Spencer Rattler threw 39 passes, completed 30 of them. That's a pretty good percentage. 353 yards, even while running for his life. I'm going to tell you, chicken or not, Gamecock or not, loser team that I despise with all of my orange and white and shades of purple heart, the guy, you can't blame him. In fact, there's a part of you that as a sports enthusiast, you kind of feel sorry for him. You kind of want to go up to those massive guys that are standing in front of him going, what are y'all doing? Are y'all just big human beings? What are y'all doing? Dakereon Joyner, one of the great waste of talent that South Carolina's recently wasted in his final year at South Carolina. Talk about somebody who could have transferred out and probably got a better gig. 12 carries, 23 yards, 1 touchdown. British Brooks. It's really quite honest. It's quite honestly, there's just so much going through my mind right now. I have 50 things in one mouth to say it, and it comes out. Y'all forgive me. British Brooks, I forgot about him. He got injured. He didn't get to play last year. 15 yards, 103. 15 carries, 103 yards. He looked great. It's always good to see people come back and play the game. Leggett, whatever his name is, for South Carolina, he came in and beasted it. 9 receptions, 178 yards. He looked great. He had over half the yardage from Spencer Rattler, right? Or that Spencer Rattler had. He had over half the yardage. Some guy, I think his name is Pacer. Please forgive me. I remember them calling it during the game, but reading the actual spelling of his name is crazy. 7 receptions, 66 yards, 1 touchdown. Now I'm going to go to stats real quick. North Carolina was a 2.5-point favorite, which basically means in the betting realm, by the way, that anybody could have won this game. And North Carolina just absolutely poured it on them. North Carolina's defense looked better. And I'm going to go ahead and tell you, South Carolina fans, you may not want to hear this. Furman, yes, FCS Furman and somebody told me, said Furman is from Greenville. I don't care what they put on the website. I've driven around that school 9,000 times. That's Travelers Rest. I could care less what the website says. That's Travelers Rest. Go drive up there. You'll see for yourself. Well, I went to Furman and I should know. Yeah, you should know. It's Travelers Rest. Furman actually had a good season last year in FCS. They returned the majority of their starters, including their quarterback. Next week in Columbia, after the little shindig I saw tonight, y'all better watch out. Don't be looking to Georgia the next week. Go ahead. Spoiler, you're not winning that game. And by the way, Georgia's not that great either. I watched them play today. I was just sitting there staring going, wow, they look terrible. But Furman, don't be shocked if Furman gives you a game next week. I'm telling you this, if Furman was to win that game, if they were to win that game, I would laugh so hard, I would probably need to be medicated. Let's go to team stats. I'm gonna go through this really quick, and I'm thinking about, and people put in the comments section. Please do. Clemson Carson in here. I haven't seen you in a long time. Grafnar's in here. Please let me know in the comment section if I do another. So I'm going to end this show and then open up just talk about college football for about, I don't know, 20 or 30 minutes. Would you be interested if I did that and put a link in here and we could talk about college football? And of course, I'm going to be transparent with you. I want to stay on subject. When we want to keep it clean, just put in the comment section whether you would join or not. We could chat and just kind of go from there. Put that in the comment section and we'll we'll go from there. But let's talk about the stats here. If you look at the stats, first downs, North Carolina had 21. South Carolina had 20. North Carolina won the third down efficiency. That was big. 8 of 13 third downs. That's big. South Carolina, 4 of 14 third down conversions. North Carolina was 1 of 2 of fourth down conversions. South Carolina was 0 of 4. In passing yards, North Carolina threw for 269. South Carolina threw for 353. North Carolina was the one who had the turnovers. They had 2 turnovers. This game goes against logic in so many ways. You're playing a team who doesn't have their star wide receivers from last year because they graduated. Then you don't have the next guys up. You're playing against a defense that's not that great. And North Carolina turned over the ball twice, and you didn't turn over the ball once. I mean, logic. I mean, forget it. North Carolina had 168 yards rushing total. South Carolina finished, and this is because of the sacks, -2 yards on 31 rushing attempts. Oh, my God. Oh, where was Nick Harbor, by the way? Did he die? Because when I did my video yesterday or day before yesterday, Nick Harbor had been cleared. That's all I've been hearing about from you chicken fans. You wait till 6'5", 235 pounds is streaking down the field at Olympic speed. You and your Clemson boys ain't never seen. The North Carolina boys didn't see it tonight. Where was he? Was he incarcerated? No, he doesn't play for Georgia. No, where was Nick Harbor? Where was he? Where was he? Marcus is in here. Dale's in here. My old buddy Dale. Gunner's in here. Taco Gaming's in here. I'm going to talk about this for just a little longer, and then I'm going to start the other show, and I'll put a call-in link here. Now, I'm not going to go very long. Between you and I'm trying to keep up with the UCLA Coastal Carolina game. I actually like Coastal Carolina. Grayson McCall, I think, is one of the best quarterbacks in the country. If you don't know why, you need to go watch him for yourself. The guy can play. Just a few more stats for you before I go. The penalties, North Carolina was more penalized than South Carolina. I'm telling you, folks, none of this game makes sense. North Carolina won the possession, 32 minutes, 36 seconds. But that's not massive. That's not like a massive, oh, they had the ball, for 40 minutes of the game or something like that. And I'm going to complain here. I know this is the rules, and the officials have to call the rules by whoever sets the rules and the committee that comes together for safety and all that bunch of stuff. But when the North Carolina player actually picked up the South Carolina player, I know you don't have to explain to me what the rules are. I've heard this rule for a very long time. He picked him up and slammed him. I know the reason why you don't want to do that. But had he tried to bear hug him and he started having a little forward progress, do you think the ref is actually a ref is a position on the field? That's the white hat. Do you think that the linesman is going to blow the whistle? No, because there's forward progress, and you don't blow the whistle on forward progress, do you? That's right, Marvin. No, you don't. So when that guy picked him up and slammed him to the ground, and then they threw a flag on him, I don't care what the rules are. They need to get rid of it. You know what? If you want to make football really safe, turn it into flag. These are guys who lift weights every day of the week, who are nothing but machines, and they're colliding. I'm sorry, somebody's going to get hurt, and sometimes it's going to be tragic. That comes with the territory. That was a terrible call, and I hate it, and they need to get out of the way. Robert Summers in here. Robert, your team looked great. Well, folks, I am going to shut down this video. If you have not hit the thumbs up, hit the thumbs up. If you have not subscribed, please subscribe. It's free. Pass this along to anybody in your forums. I don't know if the join button is supposed to be there, and the super thanks supposed to be there. So if it's there and you want to support the channel, please do. I won't stop you, but I do appreciate you being here. I'm going to start in another video to where if you want to call in and talk, we'll talk for a second. I am going to go back downstairs and watch the Coastal game. So I'm going to keep this short. I just want to get some of your feedback about Clemson football. Chase says no join button. I have no clue why that's not, because it's all set up and it's been approved. So I'll have to go back. It's probably something on my side. So, but anyway, I do appreciate everyone here. One of the big things that we need to look at is that North Carolina came in completely and totally on the offensive side of the ball, other than Drake May, undermanned with a new offensive coordinator, and they just absolutely embarrassed South Carolina. I know it's a 14-point win, but if you sat and watched that game, South Carolina looked terrible. There's some good players, but overall, they look terrible. And yeah, Gamecock fans, if the right amount of money comes along, Shane Beamer, he could care less about Garnet and Black. He has a price, and he'll take that price. Folks, you take care of yourself, and I'll catch you, well, on this video in just a second. Catch you later.